Peterborough's community radio station, Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Good afternoon and welcome to Keep Women Talking, a show from Peterborough Women's Aid. My name's Mandy and I'm your host, and I am joined by my co-host Sue. Sue, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm stressed. And I'm going to tell you,
Monday morning.
It's Monday morning,
and it's all gone wrong.
Everything was going like really smoothly in my house, and then I get the email that every mother dreads. School is closed.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Water leak.
Oh,
so
no.
you just stand there for a minute. I was just looking at my phone going, well,
what do I do
I
now?
don't know what to do now. And then I was just looking, I kept watching my phone thinking, please can like one of my mum friends just post, oh, I can have George for you. But nothing happened. Didn't happen. And so I had to phone Nanny and Grandad, and I felt extremely bad because they do, you know, they look after him like after school and stuff. And I was like, I'm really sorry.
So it sent your morning into turmoil.
It sent my morning into turmoil. And then the second thing that stressed me out this morning is you can relate to this, so my 17-year-old son passed his driving test last week.
Yeah, we were talking about this, weren't we, last week, about the stress it induces when they go out for the first few weeks.
I don't know if having kids is harder when they're like really young or in the middle or teenagers.
Oh, I don't think it changes. I think they're still stressful. It's just different stresses.
And so he's driving from Huntingdon today into Cambridge to go to college for the first time.
Into Cambridge City
Well,
Centre.
this is the stress, right? So his college is on the outskirts. So it's on the outskirts. It's on the A14. And I thought, well, that's quite straightforward. And then he tells me, oh, I'm going to go and pick my girlfriend up from Long Road in Cambridge, which is in the centre.
In the middle, yeah.
So I've made him add me on Snap Maps so I can basically stalk him to make sure he's getting from A to B.
From a safety point
of view, yes,
as
no
a
stalking.
parent.
Yes. Yes. And I'm so stressed. I just went for a wee and I brought the soap into the studio. I don't know what's going on.
Your brain's not quite
It's Monday morning,
properly.
isn't it?
It is, definitely.
So we have a very interesting show today. And we're going to talk about something, believe it or not, that Sue and I don't know much about.
But I think that's part of it.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about social media, algorithms, AI, and young people.
I know quite a bit about young people.
Yeah, Sue knows a lot about young people. And we're just going to chat about it because it's something that is very much current, isn't it? And in the news.
And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, isn't it? And I think it's slowly creeping more and more into society and becoming the norm.
Yeah, definitely. But before we do that, we're going to just talk about what's been going on at PWA for the last couple of weeks. So we want to give a huge shout out to our clients and our staff who are observing Ramadan, and also we want to say thank you to the Muslim Council and iCare, who have given us some lovely food donations to support our vulnerable families during this time. So thank you so much for that. Talking about our South Asian project, we're super excited, and this is the first time we've ever done this, is that we are going to have 3 days of activism to highlight domestic abuse in the South Asian community in Peterborough. And this is going to...
when is it taking place, Mandy?
It's in May.
Right.
And it's
going
to...
a little while to
everyone's got a little
things.
to prepare for this. And it's going to, what's the word? Culminate?
Yeah.
Is that the word? On Saturday, the 16th of May, where we will be doing a peaceful walk from our offices in Cromwell Road to the town hall, where we will be welcomed by the council leader, Shabina, and then we're going to invite everyone to have a nice picnic with us.
Oh, that sounds
so
good.
literally anyone can come along to this, and the whole point of it is that we just want to raise awareness about the work that we're doing with South Asian women in Peterborough, and also raise awareness about domestic abuse in our community. We're asking people to come along wearing pink or purple.
That's our colours.
That's our colours. And hopefully it'll be lovely weather, and we're going to have a nice walk.
And then where's the picnic taking place?
We're hoping the picnic will take place in the cathedral grounds.
Oh, lovely.
But I just need to get permission from people to make sure everyone's okay with that. So we will talk a lot more about this on the show. Yes, and we want as many people from Peterborough to join us on our walk on the 16th of May.
And that's open to anyone. You don't
it's
have
open
to be
to anyone.
Female, males, females.
No,
whoever.
my friends and family are going to come. It's anyone that feels that they just want to support the work that we do. Yes. And have their voice heard. Yeah. So we're really excited about it, and we hope it will generate a lot more awareness of abuse in our communities.
Yeah. And I assume that will go out on our social media pages as well.
Oh, it'll be all over TikTok.
Mandy and her famous TikTok videos.
If you don't follow us on TikTok, please do.
We are on other platforms.
We are on other platforms. TikTok is at Peterborough, P-B-O-R-O, Women's Aid. And we are on Instagram and Facebook. So, yeah, please do follow us. Another thing that I want to promote is I did a podcast a couple of weeks ago with a lady called Karina. And Karina's sister was murdered by her perpetrator back in February 2025. And Karina really wanted to tell the story of her sister, Simone.
So this was for the year anniversary, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And the podcast is going to be released on Thursday to coincide with that anniversary. And we will be sharing it all on our socials. And it's a really powerful podcast to raise awareness about coercive control and the devastating impact that can have on family and friends. So
I think we've spoken quite a lot in the past about there's still quite a perception that domestic abuse is quite physical.
Yes.
And it doesn't always have to be. I know the clients that we work with actually say that the coercive control, the emotional abuse and the psychological abuse can have a bigger, longer lasting impact than the actual physical abuse that they sometimes receive.
Absolutely. And these examples of coercive control obviously resulted in the murder of Simone, and her sister just wants to raise awareness and tell Simone's story. So that podcast is going to be released on Thursday, and that will be on our YouTube channel and on our socials and on Spotify if anyone wants to listen to that.
It's incredibly brave of Corinne to come forward and tell the story, because as a close family member, to watch them go through that relationship, because as an onlooker there's very little that you can do apart from be there for them and be a listening ear, especially if you're recognising and seeing things that perhaps the person who's in the relationship can't see. It's really, really difficult.
It is. And when we were doing the interview, I know her, she's my friend as well. I just thought, I can't believe that you have the strength to sit here and talk to me about this. I mean, it was her little sister that was murdered, and such a strong woman to, she's still dealing with her grief, but also she's raised a lot of money for us over the last year as well, and then just to put herself in the public arena by talking about her sister's murder is just, so brave.
It's amazing. It is really, really brave.
Following on from that, if anything that we're talking about today, you feel that you need help, please do contact Peterborough Women's Aid on 01733 894 964, or you can contact us through our website, which is peterboroughwomensaid.co.uk. So over the last couple of
going on?
The last couple of weeks, our groups have continued. So tell us about the groups that we're doing at our Women's Centre.
Yeah, so we've expanded our groups since January. So we now hold a legs, bums and tums group on a Monday afternoon. Tuesday morning is our normal Women Warriors. peer-on-peer support. Wednesday is Own My Life. That is by invitation only. That's a programme raising awareness around domestic abuse and empowering ladies to take control of their lives and to move forward. Thursdays is journaling and meditation. And Fridays is Women Warriors with Aprons, where that's more of an arts and craft based.
So we are just super busy, we have once a month, so it will, I think it's the 2nd of March, we will be having our cultural coffee morning as well, which was really well attended last time. I think we had 28 ladies turn up.
These are really successful, aren't they?
And we do lots of wellbeing activities. So again, all this will be on our social media if people want to come along. I also want to say thank you to Warrington WI. They did a coffee morning for us and they raised a massive £700.
Wow.
I know.
That's incredible, isn't
and
it?
And they do this every year, don't they?
They do. They've been great supporters of ours and it is so appreciated. And the money they raise goes straight to our clients and helps us in offering direct support to them.
Yeah. And this is the biggest amount I think they've ever raised for us, so thank you so much. We do have a question of the week.
We do.
And the question of the week is, the Winter Olympics is on. Have you been watching it, Sue?
I've watched little bits and pieces of it. I'm very busy.
Yeah.
So I don't have loads of time. I'm not one for sitting in front of the TV.
No. And the question is, if you could compete in a Winter Olympic sport, what would it be? Random question. But
it is really random. And do you know what? I was watching a little bit of the Winter Olympics the other day, and there was an event on which I've never seen before, which is the snowboarding cross, I think it's called.
Ooh.
Which is basically they go along this course, which is all lumps and bumps and bends and twists and turns. It was a bit like, like BMX riding.
Yes, yep.
When they go around that track. It was a bit like that, but on a snowboard.
Oh.
And I was like, wow.
I've never been snowboarding, have you?
No.
Or skiing?
No. I've only ever been on a dry ski slope. A few times in my very, very younger days, probably when I was maybe even a teenager.
I'm more of a beach person.
Yeah.
I'm
more of a sun.
Yeah.
And warm.
Yeah, I am.
Rather than a cold, snowy.
So you would do the cross country snowboard, whatever it is?
I'd probably end up breaking a leg, to be honest. But there's some sports that just, I don't know, they just absolutely amaze me. Like the ski jumping.
Oh, I was going to say ski jumping.
I mean, how do they do that?
I don't know. One, it's petrifying when you look from the top bit.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, it's like a drop, isn't it?
It is. It's huge, isn't it?
And then they go like 120 metres, which is
just flying through the air, basically, and you're just hoping that you land safely at the end of it.
On like 2 sticks.
Sorry, I've probably just stuck my hand in front of the camera.
And you just land on like 2 sticks, and you have to keep your balance. That's astounding.
It is. It is, absolutely.
If I was to do a Winter Olympic sport, there is thinking behind this. It would be curling.
Ooh, why
because I like to clean, and they have that little brush thing, don't they?
But don't they have special people to? Because that's to melt the ice, isn't it, or something, so that it flows.
So it's not competitors that do the brushing?
I don't think so. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, I still like the curling.
You like the idea of curling?
Yeah, because it's quite similar to bowls.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's a similar sort of concept,
yeah,
isn't it?
So I would do curling. So tell us what Winter Olympic sport you would take part in. You can call us on 01733 602 133. You can text on 07119 1062, or you can comment on our live stream, which is on YouTube, X, or Twitch. So today, Sue, we are talking about we are talking about algorithms and AI.
Yes.
Shall we start with algorithms?
Let's start with algorithms.
Right, Sue. Now, just to make everyone aware who's listening, Sue and I are not techie.
Nope.
whatsoever. But repeatedly, the use of AI, social media, and so on is coming into our Peterborough Women's Aid world. And I said last time, we're going to talk about deepfake images, but I said last time that I did an interview about deepfake images and how, it's happening a lot. So when we get to that, I will give out a bit of a trigger warning for people, because there might be young people listening to us, and deepfake images maybe is something that you might not want them to know about.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
and I think we're obviously just going to give a brief overview of the basis of this, and then perhaps how it impacts victims of domestic abuse, and how
young
it can
people
be used in those situations.
Right, so
algorithms.
Give us a definition of an algorithm, and we're going to talk about algorithms to begin with in terms of children and young people, and see how that works.
Okay, so a social media algorithm, it's a set of rules and calculations used by social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They all use it. I think even YouTube uses it to determine what content shows up in your feed. So basically, the algorithms analyse your behaviour, things, your preferences, what you interact with, what posts you look at, what ads you look at, and the amount of time that you perhaps spend looking at certain posts on those social media feeds.
So, an example of this for me was, obviously I'm a woman of a certain age, and I did a little search on Safari, or
yes,
you know what I mean,
a search engine,
for menopause supplements.
Yeah,
fine. There we go. I then went on to my social media, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and all I saw was menopause supplements.
Yes.
So my algorithm, I suppose my age, the fact that I'm a woman, and I've had to input all of this into Facebook when I set up my account, TikTok and so on, has meant that they are now flooding me with menopause supplements. And that's really all that's all I'm seeing. I mean, pretty much I get a bit of like, oh, what my friend's doing, but pretty much all I see now is menopause.
Yes. From that one search.
From that one search engine. Okay. So what about algorithms and young people and their kind of well-being?
So this can be really, really dangerous, because we know young people spend an awful lot of time on their phones, on their tablets, on their laptops, whatever they have. And they're constantly searching for various different things. We know that teenagers are naturally inquisitive. Mm-hmm. There's a big wide world out there, and there's lots in it. So one of my main concerns is that they can search for something really, really innocent, but then they become stuck in this rabbit warren of various different videos, if you like, if you're on TikTok, that can develop and go off at a tangent with a very loose connection to what they've searched for, and could become really extreme and not necessarily factually correct, shall we say?
Yeah.
So yeah, and we know that, like I said, young people spend a long time on their phones and that. I think one of the statistics we've got here is that on average 13 to 18-year-olds use social media for 7.5 hours a day.
Right, I can't get my head around that, because that is a full day at work for us. Like from 9 until 4:30.
But you think, though, they wake up in the morning, what's the first thing they probably do? Check their phone. And they're away already.
And when we say social media, we're talking about these apps, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever they're using, 7.5 hours.
Yeah.
And of course, so you've got it in the morning, haven't you? I would imagine, I'm just trying to think.
They've got breaks at school.
They've got breaks at school. They're on their way to school.
On their way to school. On their way home from school.
The amount of kids I see riding their bike with no hands, scrolling. No. Oh, yes. and I want to toot my horn at them, but then I figure that's a...
No, that may well cause them to fall off.
So, yeah, that's a mind blower, isn't it?
It is.
7.5 hours.
It is. It's crazy.
And then we've got this thing called doom scrolls.
Yeah. I've been guilty of it.
Surely not.
I have.
So
Where I've suddenly sat down and thought, I'll just have a quick look. Scrolling through, click on a link. Oh, yeah, that's so and so. Have a read of that article, whatever. I go back on it, scroll a bit further.
But it's saying here, young people can doom scroll for 2 hours.
Yeah, well, maybe not that long.
I mean,
I'm thinking perhaps half an hour I might lose.
Sorry, I keep hitting my mic with my scrolling. We all scroll, don't we? I mean, I scroll through Facebook, scroll through Instagram, but that's kind of it. I don't.
Yeah.
I just kind of have a little look.
Have a quick look.
And we're probably talking 10 minutes maximum. But a doom scroll is when you sit there and you don't put the phone down. And like you say, you're looking at TikTok and then there's a link to another TikTok, or then you're just constantly looking at that. So if we go back to what we were talking about, if you're searching, if your algorithm is a certain thing, I don't know, for example, you're a 12-year-old boy and you love football.
Yes.
Your doom scroll is pretty much going to be football clips.
Yeah.
Keep going and going and going and going.
And they are never ending.
Oh, they're never. Tell me about it. They are never ending. But then when we put this in the context of healthy relationships and domestic abuse, if someone had searched, for example, what should I do if my girlfriend cheats on me? You have then got this doom scroll of all of these stuff, and like you say, that's when it gets out of control, because that search is then turned into millions of posts saying, well, this is what you should do, this is what you should do, this is what you should do, and this is all this young person has going on in their head, and nothing else, because the algorithm is saying this is what this young person wants to know, so I'm going to flood their brains with this information and nothing else at all. Yeah.
And going on from that, I was reading an article earlier, and it was on about a specific incident between two people that were in a relationship, and the perpetrator was using ChatGPT and was talking to ChatGPT about the way this lady was behaving, and basically because of the way that he was talking to ChatGPT and obviously exaggerating and adding things in, ChatGPT then came back and basically said that this lady had all these mental illnesses. And there are huge concerns about ChatGPT being used to support domestic abuse in that way, and also this armchair diagnosing of illnesses, and the risks associated with that are huge. Yeah. And like you say, if people are asking such platforms for advice on relationships, financial concerns was one that came up randomly when I was reading earlier, like financial advice. And it's like, well, these AI programs take information from all over the place, and it's not necessarily up to date.
So I was thinking this about ChatGPT, and this shows my, naivety when it comes to stuff like this. So ChatGPT, I can't even say it.
I can't either. It's just a right mouthful, isn't it?
ChatGPT or other providers of this, they get their information from the web, don't they? So they're sourcing information from the web for you to save you scrolling or searching.
And I don't know how verified that information that they're using is.
If you look at stuff like Wikipedia, people add stuff into themselves,
that can be
and it could just be made up.
Yeah.
So none of this stuff is like
that's it. For example, if you and I were searching for a health issue, we would perhaps go on the NHS app.
Yes.
Or I don't know, something from a specialist organisation that we're aware of. But ChatGPT, if you put it into that, doesn't necessarily go to those official, organisations.
Yeah.
They go from everywhere and anything. So you could get, some random person who's made some article about something that may be a complete and utter load of rubbish.
So
it's just scary.
We've also got here that half of teens feel addicted to social media.
I'm not surprised. It's their life a lot of the time. And the thing is, it's become how teenagers communicate.
Yeah. It definitely has. Right.
Where before we would go out and talk to our friends, it's now all online.
It is. So we are talking about algorithms and social media, and we're going to talk about AI after the break. We do have one response from our question of the day, which is, if you could do a Winter Olympic sport, what would it be? And Alicia has said that she would do figure skating.
I love that idea.
I love that idea. I can't even rollerblade though. That petrifies me. If I go to the ice skating rink, I need one of those penguins because it's no.
See, I love roller skating.
No, I'm not a huge fan, and I worry my fingers are going to get cut off. Right, we're going to go to an ad break, and we will see you soon.
You're listening to Salaam Radio, and it's now time for Zohar Azan.
This Azan is sponsored by Children of Adam, changing lives in Peterborough and across the world since 2013.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
This dua is sponsored by Chicken Valley, flavour that rules the roost.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم بك نحيا وبك نموت وإليك المصير. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا.
This is Salaam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio, broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Good afternoon and welcome to Keep Women Talking, a show from Peterborough Women's Aid. My name's Mandy and I am your host, and I am joined by Sue, my co-host.
Good afternoon.
And today we are talking about all things algorithm-y, AI-y.
Algorithms.
But we do have a question of the week, and the question of the week is, if you could do a Winter Olympic sport, what would it be? So Sue wants to be an off-road
snowboarder, cross racer.
And I want to do the curling, the brushing bit of the curling.
Just the brushing bit.
And we've had Alicia, who has contacted us saying that she would like to be a figure skater, which the more I think about it, the more that really should be everyone's option, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah. Very elegant, very just...
But it's still really complicated.
It is. It is.
But they always look so amazing.
I mean, how do they do, like, those triple turns? Because I can't even do a turn in real life. You know, if someone said...
the ones where they jump up in the air and spin 3 times.
If someone said, like, run and jump and spin in the air, I couldn't do it. But they can do it. They can go round 3 times.
I know, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So please tell us, what Olympic winter sport would you do? You can call us on 01733 602 133. You can text us on 074 119 1062, or just comment on our YouTube or X or Twitch. So we are talking today about algorithms and AI, and we've been addressing the impact on young people. If you have been affected by this and it's had an impact on, I don't know, your relationship, because we know that AI and social media plays a huge part in abusive relationships, you can reach out to Peterborough Women's Aid on 01733 894 964 or go via our website, which is peterborough.womensaid.co.uk. So we're talking about algorithms, and I worry about algorithms and our young people, probably especially girls, a little bit more than boys, and the way they look. Yeah. What do you think?
It is really scary, because it's like we were saying before, they can look for something quite innocent and then end up looking at quite extreme videos or posts. For example, if you search for something about mental health.
Yes.
You know, you might have a teenager that's struggling with anxiety, and they've searched this up and they've started getting videos through, perhaps self-help videos. But the negative side of this is that these videos, and once they get into numerous videos, and perhaps it starts talking about the impacts of mental health, the long-term impacts, the risks of taking your own life, and everything that sort of comes around mental health. These videos then almost reinforce what they're thinking, and can almost highlight symptoms, if you like, that they perhaps hadn't thought of, that they then think, oh, have I got that? Is that something I'm suffering with? And then subconsciously, they almost put that into their condition, and it gets a bigger and bigger and bigger, and the mental health difficulty gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And like I say, these videos can sometimes reinforce their thoughts and their feelings, and can then exaggerate them and amplify them.
And we've got some more stats about 74% of TikTok users see content suggesting that girls only want to date a certain type of guy, tall, rich and handsome. And again, this is like, they call it a filter bubble effect, and it limits your exposure to other things.
Yes.
Doesn't it?
Yes, so like I mentioned earlier about you getting stuck in a rabbit warren,
Yes, yep.
you almost lose anything else outside of that bubble, as you called it. And almost like you lose touch with reality almost.
You do. And I worry about young girls in terms of like beauty and lifestyle, because you go on TikTok or wherever, and there's lots of posts about you should look a certain way, or this is how you should do your hair, and this is makeup, and da-da-da-da. And once you click on one, you get 1 million come through, and then there's a lot of pressure on people to look like the people that they're seeing on the screen. And again, that goes back to the whole mental health thing, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And there's so much about body image out there, and I think there is so much pressure on young people to look a certain way and behave a certain way and go to the gym, 3, 4, 5 times a week, because that's what they should be doing. And it also sort of touches on the content that they're looking at isn't necessarily real.
Yes.
So that brings us on to sort of the AI side of stuff, and using these AI tools to create fake images, to create fake videos that depict people that are, not realistic.
So I've got a bit of a definition of AI. So AI, artificial intelligence, well, straight away that just reminds me of E.T. Doesn't it, you? Or like aliens or something. Artificial intelligence is technology that allows computers and machines to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. Okay, that whole statement has freaked me out.
It does. Because you're using machines, basically.
To do what humans
should
used
do,
to do
with a degree of brain power and intelligence.
So we've got, so in simple terms, AI systems can learn from data, recognise patterns, make decisions or predictions, and generate content.
Yeah.
So the predictions bit worries me a little bit, because we know that past behaviour often informs future behaviour, and we know that as human beings, don't we? But for artificial intelligence to predict what's going to happen,
you lose that human touch.
You do, or the gut instinct.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So
and I think there are huge benefits to AI.
Yeah.
I think for medical and health reasons, within specialist health fields, I think it's being used more and more to be able to recognise symptoms within a health medical condition and then predict the outcome, which is amazing. And it is absolutely incredible. But there's also an awful lot of concerns I have.
Me too. And it's so common examples of AI are voice assistants, recommendation systems, so things like suggesting videos, music or products, image and facial recognition. Well, we all use that, don't we?
Yeah.
To unlock our iPhones or our bank account or stuff like that. Chatbots and virtual assistant. I mean, we use AI, don't we? Because we have a chat box on our website, which pings up, but
pings up an automatic acknowledgement to start off with,
but then it's
doesn't
manned
it?
by a human,
yes,
isn't it?
But then the human intervenes.
Yeah, whereas when you go on...
but on a lot of them...
Like when
what was I on the other day? I can't remember now. I think I was on... I can't remember what I was looking for. But something, and it asked... Oh, I think I was on my banking.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find out how to do something. And so I'd put this question in and it came up, could you provide some more information? So I provided a bit more information. And then it tried to answer my question, but it was not the right thing that I was looking for. So then it said, is this correct? Is this the right thing? And I was like, no. And then it went back and started again. And I could not get past this automatic robot, if you like. And I couldn't get an answer to my question because obviously it didn't have the intelligence or the brain to be able to understand what I was actually asking.
And this is the thing, isn't it? So, like with our chat box that we have at work, we have, people send us through offers and stuff saying, "Do you want your chat box to be an automated response?" And we're like, "Well, obviously not, because we work with
people who have emotions and
yeah.
and feelings and have very specific
needs. We're not going to plonk them in front of a computer chat box, are we? We need someone on the end that's
it.
very
Because you
skilled.
can't put everyone in a box.
No.
And you can't have textbook answers for everything.
No, not at all. So,
should we talk about how AI can be used in domestic abuse circumstances?
Yes.
So things like, let's talk about tools to start off with. There's things like smartwatches, Aura rings, smart home devices.
Can you stop? I don't know what an Aura ring is.
So an Aura ring is the new thing where it is literally a ring that goes on your finger and monitors your heart rate, your steps, similar to a smartwatch.
A ring?
Yeah. And obviously it's linked to an app on your phone via Bluetooth and all the rest of it.
How much are these rings?
I've got no idea. But yeah, it's a thing.
That's blown my mind. What, like a wedding ring or something on your finger?
Yeah, like a band, a proper ring band, yeah.
Don't tell me you
And
can
it
pay for things with it.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'll have to look into that. I'm not sure. But yeah, it can monitor you like a Fitbit does, for example.
But it's just a ring.
But it's just a ring rather than a watch, for example.
Wow.
Smart home devices, we know we've had experience of clients having these used against them. So these new devices allow you to turn the heating on and off.
Yes.
They allow you to turn lights on and off within your home and things like that. So we've had women who have had the heating turned off when it's, -4 outside.
Yeah.
So they've had to sit there and freeze. They've had lights turned off. So perhaps the perpetrator's gone out for the evening and actually, no, you're not having the lights on. No, you're not having the heating on. And they've turned it off because they've got full control over it. Smartwatches can be used for tracking.
Yep.
The same way that we've spoke about Snapchat maps.
Yep.
Largely used by young people. And they seem to think that they should be on these maps so that everyone can see where they are. Well, if you have a partner who's particularly controlling, then not only can they see where you are, they can see who you're with.
Yes.
And that can become part of the abuse that goes alongside those things. So yeah, there's all these tools out there that can be really, really useful. I mean, I've got a smartwatch. I monitor my activity. I monitor my sleep. I monitor my heart rate. It monitors my stress, which keeps bleeping at me recently. Can't imagine why. And I use it all the time. But it can also have a very negative side to it as well, and can be used in lots of negative ways, which is really, really quite scary. And then we move on to spoofing apps.
Oh, go on.
So spoofing apps using AI can be used to impersonate people. So I could take your image, I can use your voice, and I can create anything I like.
Oh, so do you watch Silent Witness on BBC?
I do, but I'm not up to date.
Oh, no, I won't tell it. I won't say, but this is happening on Silent Witness at the moment. So it's the next episode tonight. But the exact thing, like a spoof video of somebody has been made.
Yeah, and this can be quite scary for young people when their images can be used to create content, if you like, videos, photos, voices and audio messages, and they can be used in any way, shape or form.
Is this difficult, do you think, to do?
I think it's becoming easier. I mean, you think when you're scrolling through any social media, how many images do you think you see that are fakes? How good at you? Would you be able to spot a fake?
Probably not, no. I thought they had to put a little AI thing in the corner. Or have I just made that? Have I dreamt that?
I don't know whether that's compulsory.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly don't know. So I don't know whether that is a necessity.
No.
But I was reading somewhere that I think majority of people
It is.
cannot.
Our producer's nodding
Is
that
it?
it should
Cannot
say AI.
recognise a fake image or a fake video.
No.
Because they are that good now.
Yeah.
Do you remember the old CGI that you used to get when you on films and everything, where, you know, going back to E.T. On the bike, E.T. in the little basket, and you could tell straight away that this wasn't real.
He's not really flying through space, is he?
Yeah. And that, but these days it is so much harder.
I've got some stats and stuff on this. So, at least 1.2 million children across 11 countries reporting having their photos manipulated into sexually explicit deep fakes within a year. About 1 in 25 children in some places. We'll talk about deep fakes.
And I think that number's increasing considerably all the time as it's becoming more and more prevalent.
In the UK, around 13% of teenagers have had some experience with nude deep fakes, such as sending, receiving, seeing, or using a nudify app.
What on earth is that? Is that literally what I'm thinking? Is
Oh, I
that
don't
it takes a
even wanna-
person and takes their clothes off, and then you get a
Picture,
body
a naked
and
picture of them.
yeah, it's scary what you can do, isn't it?
So 50% of children aged 8 to 15 have seen at least one deep fake image online.
It's just scary.
And
I'm just reading the next
reading
one
the bottom
down.
one, yeah.
And that you found that 12% of 13 to 17-year-olds said they had seen peers use AI to create sexual deep fakes. And like I say, those numbers are going to be increasing all the time. Almost constantly at the moment, I'm sure. And then there's another way of looking at this as well, is that they can be used to create documents. So AI can be used to create documents such as in terms of domestic abuse, job offers or legal letters, and they can be sent to your the person that you're subjecting to domestic abuse, and they then feel obliged perhaps to meet somewhere because this letter's telling them they've got to meet.
And it's all fake.
And it's all fake. And they then go to some random place and end up meeting their perpetrator. And then who knows what can befall of them. Or they're being used to set up finance arrangements. Again, because they can create documents that aren't real.
It's so bad, isn't it?
It is. I think as amazing as it is in one breath, there are so many risks associated with it, and I don't know how they're going to be controlled.
No. So a deep fake is an image or video or audio file created or altered using AI to convincingly simulate real people, and then including placing someone's likeness in context that they were never part of.
Yeah.
So putting someone where they weren't dressed in what they weren't dressed in, so on and so on.
So I think this is quite common. I think you see it quite commonly with celebrities.
Yep.
That they're being used to advertise products that they know nothing about, that they've had no involvement in whatsoever. You know, so if they're doing it with celebrities, actually they can do it with anyone.
Anybody. And so 90 to 95% of deep fakes online are non-consensual deep fakes. And 99% of those, it's women. So AI misuse basically disproportionately affects
Women and
girls. Which doesn't shock me.
No, but that scares me in that my mind's just gone, is that they're actually using these images on a sexual basis.
Yeah. They're using the images to abuse.
Yes.
This isn't fun, is it?
No.
This isn't, oh look, I've put your head on a cat.
Yeah.
You know, like we all do with Snapchat because it's funny. This is like actual, these images are being used to humiliate and abuse predominantly women and girls.
Absolutely. And there's, you know, the worst case scenario that, you know, a girl's face can be put onto a pornographic image
Yep.
that can then have unimaginable consequences. You know, the shame that comes with that, and the embarrassment, and the implications, you know, for future jobs, with your family, with your friends, anyone that you come into contact with. It could ruin your life.
It can. And I think, so we're talking about stats that we've found, aren't we?
Yes.
But there will be a high proportion of women and girls that haven't reported anything like this because they're so embarrassed about it. They might not want their parents to know or their friends to know.
It. And how do they prove that these images are actually fake and it didn't happen?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know enough about them because it's all new technology. How do you go about doing this? I mean, the police obviously have their ways and means.
They do. We also, I think it's important to say about how, especially for young people, I mean, I've got a silly example of this, that my son is 10 and there is a WhatsApp group for him and his friends at school. They've all got phones and they're all members of it's called Year 6 WhatsApp group. Now, George doesn't have a phone. We have held off. So he isn't a member of this WhatsApp group. But someone on this WhatsApp group had AI'd a picture of a girl and put a not very nice head on her shoulders, saying that she was this type of animal. I'm not going to say what it is.
So they've already got the skills.
They've already got the skills to do it. Now, these are 10-year-old children, and this girl was so distressed that she didn't go to school the next day because she was so embarrassed, and people were calling her names on this WhatsApp chat because of this deepfake image that someone had made of her. She's 10.
It's scary, isn't it?
I know.
But you think as they get into teenage years, that abuse, let's call it what it is, that abuse...
It is.
Gets more extreme and can have a huge impact on someone's mental health.
Yep. And what do you do as a parent when you're under so much pressure from your child or teenager to be online, to have a phone? This is how we've just said, like, what were the stats? So something like 36 of teenagers maintain constant contact with friends online. Constant contact. Yeah. Not like, hi, how are you? Constant contact. So constant snap.
Or they're on a video call with them constantly.
Constantly, yeah. So what can you do? So we know that for children under the age of 13, they shouldn't be on social media. So you're not allowed to have a Facebook or a Snapchat or an Instagram or a TikTok unless you're over the age of 13. I personally think loads of children do.
Oh, without a doubt.
So that's one thing to bear in mind. You can use parental controls.
Yeah.
On social.
I remember when my girls were young, I used parental controls all the time.
Yep.
And they're not a fail-safe. Things do slip through. But they block an awful lot.
Yes, yeah, they do. I mean, I'm very lucky with our youngest because he watches, when he is on YouTube or whatever, we can see him because he's kind of his room's near
you stay in the same room as him, you keep an eye on what they're watching.
And the majority of the stuff he watches is either football, anime, well, I don't understand anime, that's a different story, and then things like, you know, children doing experiments and experiments gone wrong, or skateboard tricks gone wrong or something. But it would only take for him to search something different that other stuff would come on.
That's it. And I think it's really important to keep open conversations with your children about these difficult subjects, because then they're more likely to tell you about things if they've experienced them. They're more likely to come to you and go, Mum, this has come up, I'm really not sure about it, or this has come up about my friend and I really don't like it. So I think having those open conversations again is really, really important, and talking about difficult subjects like this and making them aware that these things exist.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's that's so important, isn't it? That actually we're stuck with it now. We're stuck with AI. We're stuck with deepfake. And I think to be able to say to young people, these are things, and you really need to be aware of it.
Yeah. And I think, like you say, it's making them aware that these things exist, and for them to have the insight to question what they're reading, what they're watching.
Mum, is this true?
Yeah.
Is this true? What's
That's
going on
it.
here? Yeah.
And perhaps, talking through, well, how can you verify certain information and certain facts?
Yeah.
And using those trusted websites that we've talked about.
And then we have the age-old time of limit screen time, don't we? Which I tell you what is so tricky, because you limit screen time, I don't know, on a PlayStation, and then, where's the iPad? Someone hide the iPad, quick. Where's my phone? Someone hide the phone. You're constantly doing that, aren't you? But also, we didn't have this, Sue, when we were younger, did we?
No.
I was literally out there kicking a football up against the wall.
you and me both.
And whatever. So it is about diversifying what your kids do, isn't it?
That's it.
And getting them out there. We've run out of time.
We have.
So thank you, Sue. We've done the best we can, I think, with AI and algorithms, and we really look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
There's simply a variety